Well, we're going to talk about what you might want to do when your house didn't sell, at least when you put it on the market the first time.
Well, I'll tell you, we see more expired listings now than we've seen in a long time. And it brings a lot of surprise to many people when we talk about that. It's like, really? Like, how would a home not sell when it goes on the market? But there are different factors that lead to that. And having a little bit of reflection on what kind of things went wrong when we're meeting with an owner that has been on the market with another agent previously really helps us position to have the situation go right this time. But there definitely can be some reasons why it didn't sell.
What's one reason? Let's dive into this.
Well, like speaking of the home that Benifer had been priced at $130 million, that sold for $60 million.
Right.
Wasn't priced for today's market. Like, we don't see those kind of numbers in our market, but when we've seen really quickly escalating values, sometimes people get a little carried away and go, you know what, I'm just going to shoot for the moon here. So you do need to make sure that you're setting the right price at the start. That is really key in order to get your home sold within a reasonable amount of time.
Well, I'm sure that buyer interest is highest right when you put it on the market.
For sure.
You have buyers that start to come through, they're expecting something at a certain price point, and then when they walk through and they're like, well, I'm not paying this amount for this home.
Right.
They're just going to move on.
What I have always said to sellers who have had an overpriced listing, what you're doing is helping make the other homes that are the same value as yours but priced correctly, you're helping confirm the value and make them look really good. Like, don't be the comparison that sells another home to someone.
That is true. Another thing to think of, you might be thinking, I'm just going to go ahead and shoot for the stars, but you aren't catering to the audience that is actually going to end up selling your home, and they might not even see your home in a search because they've set it at like 350 and lower,
yeah.
And you're at 360 or 370.
Right, like, oh, my stretch number is 350, and if you're like, well, I know my home's probably worth around 345, but I'm just going to go for it and list it 359.9 or 365. You miss some people for sure.
What's another reason? I'm assuming that there might be some people that are either weird about showing people their home or they're not available. You
For
need
sure.
to make it easier for people to see your home.
Yes. Accommodating showings is really important. And you have to realize that your life is not going to be exactly as it was before you had it on the market. So if your family enjoys sleeping in on Saturdays and then making a leisurely brunch and
Not doing the dishes.
And then all of that, like, you are going to have to be prepared to have your home prepped and ready to be out of it at different times. Sometimes I'll have people like with young families that are like, we have a really strict sleep schedule. My kid has to be in bed by 7:15 or 7:30 or something like that. In the summertime, when the days are long, it's not unusual to have showings scheduled that 7 to 8 p.m. time frame. So you might have to adjust the schedule a little bit. But I always say that the more we get buyers into a home, the more likely you are to sell quickly. And then this time of showing your home is a very short period of time instead of long and extended and painful.
That's true. And once you get people in to look at the home, I'm assuming staging plays a part too in whether or not a home sold or sat on the market until it expired.
Well, just was it set up to make the best impression on buyers? Really taking a hard look at how of seeing the home through a buyer's eyes. I see this quite a bit, that you do a walkthrough in a home and maybe they didn't have it prepped well, like it's a little cluttery or messy, or they have chipping, peeling paint, or some walls or decor that are very personalized, and it could have been an easy fix, but they just avoided doing it.
I'm sure tidying up landscaping, removing those personal items and clutter, all of that
Don't
can
make
help.
it look like it's a lot of work to own your home.
Yes.
I mean, that's really the key.
How much does negotiation factor into when you talk to people that haven't been able to sell their home the first time it went on the market?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked for a long time on this show about the fallout rate on contracts in the central Iowa real estate market. And that can definitely be part of what leads to a home not selling during its listing period. When you got to inspection, were you willing to negotiate? Were you willing to address the things that needed to be taken care of on the home? Or did you let those odds and ends keep a buyer from moving forward and have a pending sale fall through? And if you don't have the money or time to fix home issues, you have to give some sort of incentive to a buyer. But that's where we're able to help walk you through, like, what's the best way to negotiate this out in order to be successful?
And I'm assuming that leads us to another point. When you hire a real estate agent, you've been out there, you are familiar with what's on the market, what the price point should be, what homes look like, and a good thing to do would be to start by listening to your real estate agent.
You know, my favorite clients are the ones that listen to me. I have an example of, I will say, these clients in the 80s had been real estate brokers themselves. And sometimes that creates a situation where they're like, you know what, I already know how this all works. I've been out of the biz for 25, 30 years, but I've sold a lot of houses, so I've got this. You don't need to tell me what to do. Instead, they were like, we know how important it is to talk to your real estate agent because we went through that. You tell us what to do and we will do it. And so we got painters in to neutralize it. We got stagers in, and we did the whole certified pre-owned home program, and we got them $30,000 more than they thought was ever possible for their home.
Wow.
It paid off, and because they listened, they were really open to, they weren't sure. They were like, oh, I don't know about the painting. Oh, I don't know about the staging, but we're just going to trust you. And then they're like, yep, that was great. Thank you so much. So listening to your agent is important.